One thing that's bothered me for kind of my entire career is this idea that data is somehow inherently unbiased or objective. It's not. Oftentimes, this argument's used to end discussions or to really emphatically prove out a point during a presentation or during a decision-making process or whatever the case may be. Often the idea looks like, well, the data says it and therefore we have to go with it because, well, that's what the data says. And by no means am I saying don't utilize data in arguments. That's the whole point of data, to be able to back up and prove out an argument, to say this is more than just my opinion. But every good analyst knows that data requires context to make it useful. A working definition of data that I use when I'm training new analysts or teaching about data literacy is that data is structured evidence of an observation. No more, no less. With a simplified definition like that, I can totally see how someone could come to the conclusion saying, well, data is objective and data is unbiased because all it is just evidence of an observation, right? But let's look at the last word, observation. From a data perspective, an observation needs three things: an event, an observer, and a recording. Each of those areas has room for inherent bias. For example, who decided what event was important enough to record? And people, even with the best of intentions around objectivity, are still going to have their inherent biases because we're human beings. I'm in no way saying that data is useless if it has bias or if it's not fully objective. The reality is, again, there's no such thing as objective or non-biased data. That's kind of the whole point, right? But what I am saying is that to fully understand the usefulness of a data set, it's critical to understand the full context around the data. And when I say full context, I mean full context, asking who the data was collected for originally, what were the parameters and the different methodologies that were utilized, who made the decision on what stays and what goes, who made the decision on what wasn't recorded, and then looking at how the data is being utilized in its argument. Bias in and of itself isn't a good or bad thing. Human beings, by nature, have some type of bias. Data is an extension of human existence and human life. Therefore, data is always going to have a bias. Again, that's not in and of itself good or bad. The trick is ensuring transparency around that bias and ensuring that even with that bias in place, that you have a way to look at the big picture holistically, to see where the blind spots are, and then do something about that. I'm Paul from Mazava Consulting, and if you're a consumer that's curious about the way that organizations collect and organize and use data, follow me. If you're a data professional or a professional that utilizes data regularly, and you want to learn more about how to ethically collect, store, and utilize data, DM me. Questions are always welcome.